Welcome to the Great American Collectibles Show, brought to you each week by the National Sports Collectors Convention. Join us every Wednesday evening at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and get the latest news from the greatest experts in the sports collectibles world. You can watch us on the Great American Collectibles Facebook page, as well as YouTube, or you can listen to us on Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, or any of your favorite podcast platforms. And now your hosts, award-winning sports collectibles author Tom Zappola and Boston sports media personality John Mallory.
All right, JM, here's my prediction right out of the gate.
Go ahead.
Tonight's game with the Celtics, game 2, Celts by 23.
Yeah, I think I'm not saying it'll be like that, but I suspect they'll come back and play a really great game. I mean, that was I don't.
How many threes did they miss the other night?
45.
45 threes.
That's an NBA historic record.
Yeah. So they're going to win by 23.
Yeah.
I got to tell you something, though. Jalen Brunson is a stud.
That kid's for real.
He's
for
a good
real.
player, man.
Yeah, I mean, but
really,
the Knicks, if you're the Knicks, you need to treat this like you're down one.
Yeah.
Because you scored 108 points. You went to an overtime, and you won the game by 3 points when the Celtics had the worst game in the history of the NBA. So, you can't feel good at all. Right.
When I was in college, you were probably in kindergarten then, but
Probably.
the rivalry in my college, I mean, best friends became mortal enemies. That's the truth, man.
Yeah, I hear you.
When the Knicks had Reed and DeBusschere and Dollar Bill Bradley and Earl the Pearl and Walt Frazier, and the Celtics had Dave Cowens and Johnny Hondo and JoJo White. It was bloodshed.
I'll bet.
Bloodshed. It was awesome.
They
were battles.
Yeah, I have really, really, really old friends that tell me that were there when you were there. And no, they seriously, that was like a real, because the Knicks Celtics, it's not like, Red Sox.
You know who the biggest pain in the ass was?
Dick Barnett.
Barnett was a pain in the ass to the Celtics.
I did a radio show with a friend that was from New York for 4 years up in Nashua, and he was a big Knick fan. And he used to talk about Dick Barnett, Clyde Frazier, all of them. Really, it was a great team.
No, it was great.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Great American Collectibles Show. Tom Zapp, my good friend and co-host JM John Mallory. We have a good show today. We got our really good close friend, handsome guy. Just ask him. Mike Provenzale from Heritage Auctions is with us. Lee Behrens from Sterling Sports Auction is going to join us for a few minutes right now. You can
why didn't you say Lee was a handsome guy?
Well, Lee
yeah.
Lee, quite frankly, a little borderline. But
it's like you and me, Zap. I'm like the prov of the show, and you're the
what
Lee.
It is? All right. So listen, you guys, you can listen to us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Pandora. But I'm starting to urge people, if you want to watch us, obviously you can watch us on Facebook Live, but I want to start people to gravitate towards YouTube.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you why. Because I don't have a warm, fuzzy feeling about, what do they call it? Meta? Facebook? Whatever the hell you call it.
Yeah,
I don't have a warm, fuzzy feeling about the direction that it's going in. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you why. This is unbelievable. Prove and Lee, every single week, if you go to how many friends we only have 300 friends. That's by design. We could have 4 million. Every single week, I have to block 30 to 50 Facebook posts that were stolen from other people.
Yeah.
A couple of people that like the show are dead. God's honest truth.
That is a big part of our audience.
And then another large part, like 80% of the fakes that I get every week, they're from South America. I mean, like Maria Ortiz, who has 3 friends. I'm sure she loves to collect cards. Anyways, so
do we have our own YouTube page?
We do.
Oh, I should follow that.
You think? Oh my God. All right, let's get to Lee first. Lee, you have an auction going on right now. First of all, when does it end?
It ends Thursday, May 8th. Got to have your initial bid in by 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that'll once you have one bid in, you can bid in the whole auction once it's in extended bidding.
Now, what are some of the highlights?
We have a few. This one I find quite interesting. It's a cyclist by the name of Major Taylor.
Huh.
He's the first black guy to get into cycling. If you ever want to look at it, I think it was History of the Museum. It kind of tells the story of how he got involved, which is very interesting. And some Ty Cobb cards. We got a red border Colgan chip.
Oh, that's a nice card.
Yeah, they only have 6 in the pop reports. A couple of the T206s, green and red backs. A very nice SGC4 Roy Campanella.
That's a really nice looking card.
That is a cool card.
It's nicely centered, great color. Little Buck Weaver, little 1919 handle. Got rookie cards, Ted and Hank Aaron. Hank Aaron's a 1. It's a very presentable one.
Probe, while he's showing us his cards, I mean, again, we talk about this a lot. You guys have your niche. Guys like Lee and the smaller shops have their niche. It's a perfect setup. You know what I mean? The guy that's really budgeted goes to Lee on most of the stuff, Lee, right? Every once in a while you come out with a gem though.
Yeah, and that was kind of the intent when it was started, was you wanted to be kind of a in between, to be an eBay possibility, to go in there. And I got a strong following, whether it's consigners or, the bidders, that and you get compliments from the people. I'm glad you have something affordable, but if I'm looking for it, and I still get strong prices on the better stuff too. So it's not like it lags behind in anything.
Lee, what's the where are the sources for some of the stuff you have going in this auction right now? Same person, a lot of different people, consigners.
I do have some steady consigners.
Yeah.
I mean, I have one guy that's consigned with me in every auction since I started. And it just broad-based. I mean, my background is in pre-war cards. So that always, I had a name in that. So people trusted me right away with that stuff. And it's been a good following with them.
Lee, your operation, 1-man, 2-man, 3-man?
Pretty much a one-man show now. I figured out how to pack and ship by myself.
So you do that all now?
Yeah, it's one of those things. Once you do it, you start learning how the corners are cut and everything like that. And so yeah, I just do everything myself. And I mean, because of that, like to go branch out and travel or whatever, or do shows, it has to fall in a certain time frame for me to make it work. But that's.
Well, how long? So when an auction ends, from start to finish, it must take you quite a while to get the product out the door.
Well, like the day after an auction ends, I call it pack and ship day. And because I accept PayPal, I get a fair number of payments in. And I've done as many as 60 packages in the Friday to Saturday morning when postage goes out, and then I get a little breather because we don't have postage again until Monday.
And then do you start? I mean, because your auction runs monthly, correct?
It's every 6 weeks.
Every 6 weeks. So as soon as that last product is out the door, are you working on your next auction?
Yeah, actually, if I have stuff that's in hand that's ready for the next auction, I'll start putting it together while the current auction is running.
Gotcha.
Which is always nice to have. So you got some stuff done, because you never know when you're going to get a big consignment.
Sure.
And Lee, I think with your auction house, you always get some really unique items. Is there like an item that maybe one you haven't shown us that in your mind is like that was kind of like a standout item for you, something interesting like that?
Well, that Major Taylor postcard, I had heard that story about it, and I thought it was really cool. And all of a sudden, there's a postcard of the guy. It's like that's amazing. I mean, I got Edgar Allan Poe card and a Ben Franklin card that they're not huge value, but they're decent value and they're nice. But I'm amazed at being in the hobby since 1980, and you get stuff that come in, and I'm like, what the heck is this? You know,
All right, Lee.
I enjoy that.
Yeah, for sure.
Anything else you want to show us?
Yeah, a couple tough back, a Southern Leaguer with a Hindu back. They're always
Nice.
really tough.
Nice piece.
And
Nice piece.
Carolina Brights. They couple of 40 that I got some of the big end 41 play balls. Ted, Joel, a Reese rookie. Yeah.
So you got some great stuff.
Yeah,
All right,
I do
go ahead.
graded and raw cards, so I cover both aspects. There's a 60. I broke up a 1960 set and a 62 Topps baseball set. So
Awesome. Your website address?
SterlingSportsAuctions.com.
And when does the auction end again?
The auction closes at Thursday, May 8th, and you need to get your initial bid in by 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to get you into extended bidding.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. All right, Lee. As always, we enjoy having you. Lee, I don't know about the desk behind you. I'm vacillating between whether or not I like it or I don't like it. Is it an antique?
Well, it was an old piano.
Oh, what?
Yeah, the thing is a monster. It's really, really heavy. But
Yeah.
what's in there is your liquor supply.
There we go. And it works. It works.
Yeah,
So then you
so-
need to definitely keep that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
All
so
right,
when
Lee.
you come here, Tom, I think we got some liquor for you in there.
All right, Lee. Take care. We'll see
Yeah,
you.
have a good one. Thank you.
Thanks,
Lee
Lee.
Behrens from Sterling Sports Auction. Lee's a good guy. He
Hey,
gets
can
it.
I pick something up right with Prov? What Lee said near the end of the interview.
Yeah.
When he said, we broke, I think he said whatever it was, a 61 or 62 top set. How difficult a decision is that to make in the process of putting together an auction when if you have a full set of a given year, which is valuable to some collectors? What's that decision making process like? Hey, we're going to break this one up.
We do run into that a lot. We sell a lot of collections. So we have the best card team in the world, as you guys know. So we talk to the consignor about, well, if we sold it individually, we think it would do X. If we sold it as a set, we think it would do Y. And then we make a decision. Ultimately, it's the consignor's decision, but we work as a team with them. That's the best part about consigning at an auction. We're on the same team. We're trying to go for as much as possible. But there has been a lot of great numbers for complete sets recently, especially if you can get them onto the PSA registry. Of course, if it's in the top 20 on the PSA registry, it's going to have a top end value. But even just getting a complete set, there's so many people that have come into the industry or back into the industry in the last 5 years. And, there's a lot of people who, when I was a kid, I had this complete set. But now they have an occupation. They don't have time to build it all themselves, and they'd like to just buy it all in one shot. So in the last few years, there has been on those complete sets. So we have been leaning that way more often now.
Bro, do you ever get blowback from a consignor saying, hey,
Never.
I want you to split this up individually. I don't want you to sell the whole set.
We have a lot of experience. So ultimately, we want to do what's best for the consignor. They have a voice in the process, though. And there are times when consignors will say, I want to sell something via this method. We give them our advice. They still want to do it their way, but we'll go with what the consignor wants. And that does happen with the complete sets. A lot of times people lean one way or the other. And, we'll do our research, do our due diligence, and determine what's going to be the best method. But a lot of times the people who come to us with collections, they're coming to us for our expertise. So they're going to lean on that.
We are chatting with Michael Provenzale from Heritage Auctions. By the way, tomorrow night, I know you folks see our Lucy's Love Bus commercials on the show. Tomorrow night, Rico and I are hosting the Lucy's Love Bus benefit. Lucy's Love Bus is a 501c3 charitable organization that caters to children with cancer. Great organization. If you'd like, there's some great silent auction items. Just go to Lucy's Love Bus .com, and there's some silent auction items. Not silent auction items, but there's some internet auction items that you can bid on, and they'll mail them right out to you. Some of our sponsors have really stepped up to the plate. I did not hit up Heritage this year because Heritage always steps up to the plate. But we've got some cool stuff. We've got some really cool stuff. And a special thanks to, I got to be honest with you, Mike, I know they're friends of yours, JP Cohen. He donated a signed, and for kids, this is great, a signed Taylor Swift photo, which is really, really, really cool.
Now you say for kids, yet I checked the internet bidding, and you're like the high bidder right now for that. So.
If you
which is both
around,
really,
it's
which
all
is both
Taylor Swift material.
Yeah,
That's
both,
right.
It's actually both really nice for the charity and also a little disturbing.
All right, let's get back. Let's get to Prov. By the way, so you want to put a bid in, just go to lucyslovebus.com. Rico and I are emceeing.
I just wish I was there because.
Can I tell you something? I'm going to be honest with you. They handed us a script, right? Rico and I looked at each other like, yeah, okay, we're going to stick to this.
You guys got notes on that script, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Anyway,
you're going to have a couple martinis before the event? Or
can I tell you something?
The deal with that?
I have dramatically cut my martini drinking back.
No, I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, you know something? I'm at the age now where my body is really starting to become my temple, and I really I've cut back. And
that's the one that Jesus trashed, right?
Instead, are you a drinker at all? What do you drink? What's your drink?
Me or Pro?
No, Pro.
Pro.
I know what your drink is. Everything. Pro, what is your cocktail?
I'm a whiskey guy, and I like stout beers. Dallas is a mecca for craft beers now, so I'm in a good spot for it.
As you know, JM, Ellen and I, for 25, 30 years, we've always had a martini every night with our cheese and crackers. Right. We have now limited that to 4 nights a week.
All right, that's good.
Right? Not bad, right?
The other nights it's just straight bourbon.
Right.
No, that's what we're doing. Now, the key is I said to Al, theoretically, we could drink one day a week and have all 4 drinks in one sitting. Right?
Good.
It's efficiency right there.
All right, Michael, I mean, I got to tell you, man.
Yeah.
Your catalog, this one, the card one is nice, but they're cards. This one here is a killer. When you open it up, how many Babe Ruth signed baseballs are in the first section? I mean, are you freaking kidding me? It's just
that's something that's autographed baseballs. In the past few years, so many segments of the hobby have really exploded.
Yeah, that's good. We can see that. Wow.
But the one thing that hasn't really leapt up is autograph balls, which has always been a mainstay of the industry. But in the last year, we've had some really great examples consigned, and this auction is no different. So there's a lot of great singles, some multi-signed, and some team-signed balls that lead off the second session.
Mike, what is the best way? Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, is that still on the rise? Because, I mean, I think that's something that just kind of, like you said, and we've talked about it the last couple of years on the show, the signed ball, signed baseball, signed anything. Is that still up on the rise?
Say it's holding steady. It's still a great cornerstone. We've actually been talking about this recently. Almost 12 years ago, we sold the finest known Babe Ruth single sign baseball. It's graded a 9.5. Mm-hmm. I believe that was in 2012, and it sold for $364,000, which is still the record for a single sign ball. So in these last 5 or 6 years, where so many new records have been established, and it seems like every auction cycle something's setting a record, that one still hasn't been touched. And if that ball came back out, it would definitely break the record. But a good time, I think, if you've got an exceptional signed ball, to get it out there, because that's the one thing that just hasn't really gotten a lot of exposure in this resurgence of the industry.
Who's that famous heavy metal band? Metallica. The guitarist, is it the lead guitarist from Metallica has like an amazing signed baseball collection? Prov, is that
Yeah,
who it is?
it's funny how there's a lot of musicians that have really incredible baseball collections. Eddie Vedder has an incredible collection. He collects batting helmets. Um, but yeah, there is some crossover there.
I saw a video. This guy must have 1,000 signed baseballs. And another big collector was the drummer for Boston. I can't, yeah, he's
Oh,
passed on now, but he had a huge collection of baseballs. All right,
and
listen, we have a lot to
Getty,
talk about.
don't forget about Getty Lee from
Oh,
Rush. He had
That's
oh,
right.
that's who it was.
famous.
It was
That's
Geddy
right.
Lee. That's who it was.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Geddy Lee. That's who it was. I got confused. I thought it was the guy from Metallica, Geddy Lee. All right, listen, we're going to take a break. Prova's in the house we have clear sailing. I repeat, clear sailing. Any direction, anything goes. Let's get into a little controversy too. What do you
Oh,
think?
okay.
All right,
That's
are
a
we good for
tease
that?
right there.
All right, hang in there. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Curry, a two-time child cancer survivor, recipient, and advocate for Lucy's Love Bus. The mission of Lucy's Love Bus, 501c3 nonprofit, is to provide joy, comfort, and quality of life for the entire family of children with cancer. Since 2006, they have delivered love and comfort to over 3,000 children with cancer and their family members across New England. The dream of Lucy Grogan, an 11-year-old cancer patient, was to help kids with cancer who are suffering right now, before there is a cure, by offering free, integrative therapies like art, music, horseback riding, and many other activities. Unfortunately, Lucy passed away, but her dream lives on, and today Lucy's Love Bus is thriving.
I'm Red Sox Hall of Famer Rico Petrocelli. I hope that you'll consider supporting Lucy's Love Bus and all of those children who have been stricken by cancer. The Great American Collectibles Show is partnering with Lucy's Love Bus to help these kids. Let's continue Lucy's dream. Please go to lucyslovebus.org for more information.
Since 1996, Brian Drent and the staff at Denver's Mile High Card Company have led the charge in the collectibles hobby. Mile High is a full-service dealer specializing in buying and selling cards and offers a competitive consignment program for all collectors. Whether it be their computerized want list service, appraisals, or auction services, Mile High has it all. If you've been searching for a company with a selection of high-grade vintage 1888 to 1970 baseball cards and memorabilia that shares your passion, aim high, Mile High. Go to milehighcardco.com or call 303-840-2784 for more information.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
For more than 30 years, Robert Edward Auctions has been the industry leader when it comes to helping you realize the most money for your baseball cards and sports memorabilia. In addition to their unparalleled reputation for honesty and integrity, they reach the largest number of bidders in the business and offer lower seller's fees, as well as generous cash advances up front on your valuable material. Contact them today at 908-226-9900. That's 908-226-9900, or at robertedwardauction.com.
This is Brian Drent, president of Mile High Card Company. Is your sports card and memorabilia collection properly insured? For easily replaced personal property, homeowners insurance is all most people need. But for prized possessions that you may have spent a lifetime collecting, it doesn't go nearly far enough. Collectables Insurance Services has been insuring for over 50 years. They offer a full range of protection and a $0 deductible at an affordable rate with no appraisals required. I know because they insure my collection. If you have a minute, go to collectinsure.com and learn more about insuring your personal card or memorabilia collection.
How would you like to own the bat that was used by your favorite player when he hit that towering home run or game-winning base hit? Now look no further than JT Sports, specializing in the sale and authentication of professional game-used bats. As the official authenticators of professional model game-used bats for PSA DNA, JT Sports will guarantee the authenticity of any bat purchased from them. JT Sports also buys and sells game-worn uniforms, gloves, and baseball equipment. The unique quality of the collectible is what JT Sports is all about. Give them a call at 609-487-8003 or check them out at GameUseBats.com.
Okay, we are back with Michael Prove and Big JM, John Mallory, Tom Zappala, your host, co-host. Yeah, seriously, I look pretty good today. I like the shirt. It matches the.
I'm not
State
happy
hat.
you're wearing a Golden State Warriors hat in the
Well,
middle
it
of the
was given to
Celtics
me-
playoff run.
I was
tell you, it was-
wondering about that.
It was given to me by my son-in-law, baseball savant
Hey,
Danny.
look what I'm wearing.
I know that. And by the way, as I mentioned last week, Prove, I don't know, I think you were on when we were going through this. We had the Great American AI Collectibles Baseball Tournament, which was won 2 weeks ago. The 1927 Yankees wound up victorious over the 1939 Yankees. Sometime in June, probably mid to late June, we will be starting the Great American Collectibles AI Sweet 16 NBA basketball tournament.
I'm looking
Oh, I'm
forward to
interested.
that.
My prediction,
forward to
there's going to
that.
be one Celtic team in it only, maybe two. 85, 86, definitely, maybe 2007, maybe.
Yeah,
That's
you
going
might
to be
be
a
right
little more
because
interesting because
yeah.
everybody knew the 27 Yankees were going to
Exactly.
come out on top.
So,
But with that, a little more question mark on the top team.
well,
and I would
think-
say that of all the sports, and I don't say I'm obviously there's been changes more recently, but baseball has probably changed the least
yes.
of every sport over decades when you think
So
about it.
I'm thinking my prediction, and I could be totally wrong. I haven't seen it. My prediction is going to be the 85, 86 Bulls versus the Golden State Warriors.
No, you mean the 96.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah, yeah.
96, right. 96 Bulls against the, what was it? The Golden
one of those
State.
one of
that
those Warriors
2015.
teams, the one
Yeah.
with Kevin Durant. Yeah, the couple with
Yeah.
Kevin Durant. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that analytics is going to look proudly or happily or promisingly on the 50s Celtics,
No, those teams will not even
which
be
it
in
should because they were
right.
a
Those
dynasty,
teams will not, they
but-
won't even be in it. But
Yeah.
don't sell the 85, 86 Celtics with
No.
Bird, McHale, and Parrish and,
No, they'll be
and
up there.
Walton. Don't sell them short. So it's
Yeah.
going to be interesting.
And
All right,
those,
you had a question.
They're going to love those Miami Heat teams too.
Yeah.
Yes.
LeBron, the big three.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Second.
Yeah,
big
you had a question for Prove.
No, I was just going to ask generally, and Zap, you can jump in on this too. So we had Ovechkin just patched Wayne Gretzky for goals. So first of all, it's a two-parter. One, what has happened with any of his items in your knowledge of the business? And then two, part two of that, when Ovechkin passes Gretzky, does it diminish the value of Gretzky at all in the hobby? And that could be any player that had a record that was big that now is not the record holder.
Great question.
Oh,
First,
Jesus. Something that was such a setup.
Two great questions.
Thank you.
So yeah, we're full on in Ovechkin. We did a hockey game worn jersey auction with MyGray in conjunction with the end of the season, and there was 3 Ovechkin jerseys in there. The one he was wearing when he had his 300th goal, his 400th goal, and then the one he wore this year in February when he scored his 25th goal, which was 19 seasons in a row with 25 or more goals. So he's somebody who's obviously a superstar, obviously one of the greatest players who's ever played, but he's not in that top tier in the collectibles market. You know, he's not one of those first few names that come up for hockey, but now I think he's going to start getting in there, and because now he's going to be adding to the record.
Right.
So I think that's going to help his collectible base. The problem is as far as game worn and game used material, he retains a lot of it, and he's trying to put together a museum in Russia, a hockey museum.
Oh,
so
okay.
he's got a lot of his stuff, especially his milestone material. So was way ahead of the curve on that as far as knowing where the value is going to be. He's been doing this for almost a decade. But I think that adds rarity to his material, but really popular player, on and off the ice. People really like his personality as well, which helps a lot. As far as diminishing Gretzky, I don't think that's possible, because he's number 2 in goals, but his points record is unbreakable, probably the most unbreakable record in sports.
Yeah.
So he'll always have that, and it's not even close. You could take away his every goal, and he would still be the point leader, which is
isn't that crazy?
Like
I saw that.
That's like Wilt stuff or Ruth stuff. So I think Gretzky's just fine, and he was out there out front when Ovechkin was breaking the record, which is always great. He was celebrating Ovechkin too, so that gives him, another little bump. Even though his record's being passed, he's still being celebrated. But he's unquestionably the greatest hockey player of all time. So I think if you have Gretzky material, you're safe.
There's there's an elegance about Gretzky that's almost DiMaggio-esque. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's carried himself really well. He's a great gentleman. A lot of the hockey player guy, a lot of the hockey players are. Bobby Orr's the same way. But I was wondering what that happens when someone breaks a record, if it dips the other guy down. But they're legends, right?
Gretzky is the perfect ambassador for hockey.
Yeah.
He's the best player ever. He's universally respected by everyone who's ever played hockey, and very well spoken, very good temperament. There's no scandals or issues in the background ever.
Right.
So perfect guy, and still a very solid person to invest with as far as collectibles.
Hey, Prov, couple of things before we get into some of this other directions. What are some of the
scandal? So,
no, I want to know about the auction. I mean, you've got some amazing items. Can you kind of just lay some of the items on us that you have? I mean, you got contracts, you got fabulous contracts.
You got like metal signs, flags, banners. It's like
Type
you got
1
so
photos.
many interesting stuff.
You got all kinds of stuff, man.
Yeah, so the lead items, the Jordan jersey, the 92-93 game-worn jersey from the year they completed the first three-peat. It's photo matched to 17 games, one of Jordan's finest seasons. Migray and Sports Investors photo matched it, and they both said it's the only Jordan jersey that's photo matched from that first three-peat. And then it's photo match after the season. Of course, he retired, and in October, Sports Illustrated ran an article about him retiring. It's just that the cover is just a shot of Jordan, and it just says why, and it's photo matched to that cover as well. That's the uniform he was wearing for that. But a broad range of everything. We have some great championship hardware. We had one person who was the VP of food and beverage for the Patriots during their run, and he consigned all 6 Patriots Super Bowl rings, which is really incredible to see. They just keep getting bigger and bigger as they go. And great
the
cars.
VP of food and beverage got a ring.
Yeah, of course, just like Tom Brady. No difference. No difference. I'll tell you what, we have a really incredible collection of 19th century tobacco banners, the advertising signs that would hang in the side.
Very cool.
So we had a few in our last auction. We have some in this auction, and then there's another 25 coming. And the amazing thing about these is that they still exist. But all of them are the finest condition we've seen. They all look like new, essentially. It's one of those collections that when you see it, you say, these can't be real. These have to be reprints, but they're all original. And it's all those early trading cards, tobacco cards.
Now, Michael, did let's talk about those signs. Did somebody a consignor come out of the woodwork and say, "Hey guys, here's what I have," or is it someone you guys have been dealing with for years?
It's somebody we'd known for a while, and he'd bought a few pieces from us, but he displayed them, and it's an incredible collection. And it was someone who spent a long time, decades, putting it together. He knew what he was looking for, and was looking for not just to have the signs, but he wanted the highest quality ones. And then now we're honored that when he decided to sell, he chose us. And it's a really eye-opening collection. You just don't see, we'll sell one or two of those a year, and then all of a sudden we have almost 40 of them at once. Getting to see them all together, it's a real thrill.
Bro, what's the 1988 cigar box lid item all about?
The cigar box lid. So, collectors love those early tobacco items. Yeah. And we've had a few good ones. We talked about last time I was on that we had the T206 tobacco pouch. It was the Piedmont pouch of tobacco.
Yeah.
But those things, especially like that cigar lid, that you've got the great history behind it and then the aesthetics. So that's the early 1900s Green Bay baseball cigar box. And it's just a very cool item, and definitely something when you have it on your mantle or on display, people are going to say, "What's that? I've never seen it before."
Michael, take us through what Mike Provenzale, what your role is at Heritage, because I know you wear a lot of different hats. Can you what is your role? What do you do? Because you handle everything that comes in just about, correct?
Could you text us a job description also so we can follow along?
Just check my LinkedIn, guys. So my title is production manager, which is just vague enough that they can say, yes, this is your job. Also, awesome. Yes, you need to do that. So I'm in year 19 at Heritage. It's the only real job I've ever had. I started in operations, and then now I'm in this role. So I do all the social media for the sports department. I put together our ads. I do special events. I help plan the shows and our show schedule and our presence there. I deal with clients on both sides of the paddle. And then when we put the catalogs together, I'm kind of the nexus for that. I deal with the catalogers and the authenticators and photography and the consigners and the consignment directors to make sure that every box is checked when we put out those catalogs.
Now, do you report directly to Chris?
I do.
Yeah.
So if
great boss.
I was going to say, if you ever went into a darkness retreat with Aaron Rodgers, the entire company would fall apart, would go to its knees.
Actually, I have that coming up. We're going to do a little ayahuasca retreat, talk about his future, where he's going to end up. I think he'd be a great backup for Dak, so I'm going to try and just put that out there. But we have an incredible team that has been well cultivated over the years. And I will say this is a good opportunity to say we're looking to expand our team. So we're looking for catalogers. If you're interested in spending your career in the wonderland that is Heritage's home office, we're looking for good people who know the industry. So you can reach out to us at my email or on our social media.
How far are you guys from, are you actually in Dallas?
We are in Irving, so we had been in downtown in an office building, and we had about 12 different floors, which was a nice area, but presented some difficulty for the size that we had grown to. So in 2021, we moved to this new facility. It's over 200,000 square feet. It's right by the south exit of DFW Airport. And it's one long hallway that goes all the way down. It's about a quarter mile, I'd say. And then branching off of it is the comics department's here, the coin department's here, video games, natural history, just as you walk down, fine art, jewelry. You never know what you're going to see just walking down the hallway to go to the break room. I was walking down the hall the other day, and they were bringing through some original Warhol artwork. It's just going to get a snack, and here's some fine art coming through. So it's a fun place to work, that's for sure.
Amazing, amazing. Michael, what about, I know we've talked about it with you in the past, but it's still a sore point with many people, many of the smaller dealers, theft. There's a real problem. As this hobby has grown, so has the theft, burglaries, because they see what's going on with the hobby, and it's not just your mother collecting, Ike DeLock cards. Let's talk about theft. I know you guys probably take every step imaginable to combat it. What do you see happening, though? I mean, at the large big shows. I mean, what's going to happen? How is that going to be combated?
You're right that as the industry grows, especially when there's more mainstream headlines about auction sales and sports collectibles, that makes people that might not have been aware of it, that how much value there is. So you get two different types: people who know what the values are and know what they're looking for that they're trying to steal, and then people who know nothing, just know, oh, sports cards are valuable. So you have to be vigilant. We take security incredibly seriously. We have 50 departments doing shows, doing previews, consignments coming in, going out. So we have a whole security team that works 24 hours a day, every day of the year. We go through training for it when you're at shows. But the most important thing that they always say is just be vigilant, because a lot of these thefts, especially at shows, the tactic is to distract and deceive and then have somebody else come in while you're distracted. So that's why we always have multi-people at our booth. But I know a lot of the smaller vendors, it's just one person, or it's a family, a father and son. And those are the people that really need to pay attention.
And it's hard because you have one person at one side of the table, you're talking to someone here, and you don't have eyes in the back of your head, The
great thing is that even as the industry's grown bigger, it's still a community. And, when you go to a show, all the people by your booths, you walk around. And so everybody can kind of work together to stay vigilant. And when, it's always a great reaction when there is a theft, which is horrible, but then you see people responding and everybody's on the lookout. We get people all the time that contact Heritage and say, my collection was stolen. Can you keep an eye out for it? And we have had some hits where something got stolen, and then a month later, somebody's bringing it into our office to try and sell it.
Really?
So when the whole industry works together, and, you're keeping an eye on the next guy's booth, or you see something suspicious, it's kind of cliched, but if you see something, say something. Definitely at a show, if you say to the booth next to you, hey, I've seen this guy's just staring at your booth for 30 minutes. Just making somebody aware of something like that can make a big difference.
We got about a minute left before this segment is over. Michael, what about Pokemon? Pokemon seems to be exploding, freaking exploding. What's going on? Yeah, and by the way, we're doing a Pokemon show next week, JM. You're out. Sally's in.
Thank God that I am not. So Rico's doing some deep research right now on Pokemon.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to watch that. So it's gotten very big. In fact, we have a trading card games department that does Pokemon and Magic the Gathering and all those. And it is a big department and very popular. I mean, the thing about Pokemon is it's the most valuable IP that exists. It's bigger than Star Wars. It's bigger than Disney, all that as far as total sales for cards, merchandise, movies, all that. So when you've got that stat, there's huge interest behind it. My kids are fans of it. So it just appeals to a lot of people. And the most important thing for Pokemon is that it's global. This is a huge brand worldwide. So there's a lot of passionate collectors about it. And we've seen some incredible prices for the Pokemon in our trading card department that 10 years ago would have been impossible.
Interestingly enough, next week we do have a Pokemon expert on. But then we're also going to have a Pokemon collector on. And the Pokemon collector happens to be my rheumatologist, who's 37 or 38 years old. He collected as a kid. When I'm in the office, he checks me for 5 minutes, and then for 45 minutes we talk about the hobby. And I got him into collecting again. And he said his wife's going to divorce him because he is spending mega amounts of money on Pokemon now.
Well, that's something 20 years ago, if somebody told you that, you would have said they were insane.
Absolutely.
But now there's a lot of savvy people who know what they're doing, and there's a lot of value behind it. So it's not that crazy.
All right, Mike Prove is in the house. Mike Provenzale from Heritage Auction. We're going to take a break. We have one more segment. Hang in there. I think I'm going to go get some Ritz crackers. Ritz crackers that's a good cracker to eat between breaks. Wouldn't you agree?
Andy Griffith now?
This is a sponsored segment.
Remember Andy Griffith? Remember Andy Griffith used to do the good cracker. Ritz, that's a good cracker.
Hang in there. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Curry, a two-time child cancer survivor, recipient, and advocate for Lucy's Love Bus. The mission of Lucy's Love Bus, 501c3 nonprofit, is to provide joy, comfort, and quality of life for the entire family of children with cancer. Since 2006, they have delivered love and comfort to over 3,000 children with cancer and their family members across New England. The dream of Lucy Grogan, an 11-year-old cancer patient, was to help kids with cancer who are suffering right now, before there is a cure, by offering free, integrative therapies like art, music, horseback riding, and many other activities. Unfortunately, Lucy passed away, but her dream lives on, and today Lucy's Love Bus is thriving.
I'm Red Sox Hall of Famer Rico Petroselli. I hope that you'll consider supporting Lucy's Love Bus and all of those children who have been stricken by cancer. The Great American Collectibles Show is partnering with Lucy's Love Bus to help these kids. Let's continue Lucy's dream. Please go to lucyslovebus.org for more information.
Pristine Auction is a family-owned and operated online auction specializing in autographed memorabilia, sports cards, coins, art, and collectibles. Since their founding in 2010, they've grown to 2 facilities in Phoenix, Arizona, totaling over 60,000 square feet. Jared Cavalier and an incredible staff of over 150 team members serve a very large customer base and enjoy every minute of it. By working with leading authentication companies, Pristine ensures all items are 100% authentic. In addition, third-party authenticators regularly travel to Pristine Auction to provide authentication services on site. Pristine Auction strives to operate its business in a way that's honoring to God, their families, and their customers. With a strong focus on speed, quality, and premier customer service, their mission is to be the leading online auction for every level of collector and fan. Pristine also works for Hope Sports and Identity Hoops International, traveling to Mexico to build houses for the less fortunate. Pristine Auction offers several online auction formats with thousands of auctions ending each day. For more information, go to pristineauction.com. That's Pristine Auction, the best in the business.
If you're a discerning collector interested in owning the most important pieces in the hobby, look no further than Leland's Auctions. The original sports auction and appraisal house, Leland's was established in 1985 by legendary Pioneer founder Joshua Leland Evans. And today, President Mike Hefner carries on their tradition. From the Tom Brady card and memorabilia collection to the famed Boston Garden Auction to high-end card auctions from every major sport, Leland's has always maintained the highest standards. Go to Lelands.com and get your bid in. That's Leland's, the hobby's leading sports auction house for 4 decades.
It's often been said that championships are won on the practice field, and world records come only to those willing to work harder than everybody else. Heritage Auctions is the world's largest collectibles auctioneer because we believe that becoming the best is only an invitation to the challenge of remaining the best. This requires the skills of the hobby's top experts, capable of identifying and maximizing value for our consigners. It requires the most visited website in the industry, courting a global audience of collectors over 1.5 million strong. It requires a dedicated press department that expands our global reach far beyond the entrenched hobby marketplace. It's hard work, but a simple premise. Present the finest collectibles to the largest population of potential buyers, and world records will come. We invite all listeners to put the unmatched power of Heritage Auctions to work for you. auction evaluations are always free, and our commission-based fee structure ensures that our interests are always aligned. The highest possible price for your collectibles. There will always be new world records to chase, so let's chase them together. Visit our website at ha.com and request your no-obligation review today.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
Yeah, Zap. It's got to feel good when, to our guests, when you're coming back from a break, all you're doing is yawning.
It's just weather, like, man. It's like 50,
you're inside.
It's 52 degrees. It's gloomy out. It's drizzly.
You know how you did we're doing the AI thing, the competition, but
Yeah.
We should do like a voice off between Prov and Danny Wokan.
Ooh.
Like pick like snippets of the greatest speeches ever, like JFK or Mussolini and something like that. And have each of them do pieces of it and then pick a winner.
I think
like the
think
Lincoln
that if
Douglas debates.
Yeah, Frederick Douglass.
I think that
That's
if you gave Prov, what was the famous speech that JFK made?
Well, I mean, there are a couple, but
Well, he made one here.
ask not what your country can do
if
for
you
you.
gave Prov that script, he would knock it out of the park.
100%.
Knock it out of the
Appreciate
park.
100%. Yeah.
Right?
It's all the content that, I'm just the mouthpiece.
Oh, is that what it is?
Bro, if you could read the back of a toothpaste tube
Yeah, no, you
and make
do
it
have-
sound like War and Peace, brother.
Can you picture him?
Appreciate that.
Can you picture him when he's like, romanticizing his wife?
I
mean, she must just fall for him. Right?
I might record some of his voice and try to
Exactly. Bro, we may be onto something
Like
here,
a
JM.
Cyrano
Bro.
de Bergerac situation.
Well,
yeah,
Is that
he's
what
like
we're talking about?
Mike, if we send you a tape, can you tape something for both of us?
course.
Using
reasonable rates for such things.
I'm going to try to do your voice. I'm going to work on that in my
Oh, an
vast array of
impression. Okay.
impressions. I'm going to try to do that.
I'm not sure that I have the level of fame at all to have someone impersonating me, but I'd love to see it.
No, I can do it. I'm going to work on it.
Hey, Michael, there's a guy that's becoming fairly popular on the internet, on social media, and he is a collector. Well, he's not a collector, and he has no interest in collecting. All he does is he's teaching people how to flip cards, buy a card today, flip it tomorrow. This is how you make money. You don't have to like the hobby. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, there's room for everybody in the industry. And, some people look at it, and we saw this especially in 2021, 2022. There was a lot of people who saw the industry exploding. They just jumped in, looking for speculation and ways to make a buck quickly. And some people it worked out, some people it didn't. I always advise to people that that's not the best approach, just trying to get in and get out, because there is so much history and interest and the storytelling that really adds an extra layer to the industry. But as we said earlier, it's become big money. So then you're going to find people that are opportunistic. Just be careful because you can't believe everything you see on the internet. So some tactics may work for some people that don't work for others. And it's better to take a long scope approach, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's even the bad parts of the hobby, okay, are all part of growth, and I think that because it's become so big and these items have become so valuable, part of a portfolio, right, like stocks or gold or whatever, you're going to have that. There are going to be people that are purely mercantile. Most of the people, just in doing this show, people I've talked with, started with a love of the game, but it's a product, it's a commodity, and you have to expect that, right?
Well, yeah, people will do that, like as you said, in stocks and bonds, real estate, jewelry, whatever industry has value tied to it. You're going to find people who are just coming in trying to take advantage.
Hey, Prov, let's go through your auction cycle. You've got this May 18th auction. It starts on the 18th, or it ends on the 18th.
So it's open right now for bidding at ha.com. It closes over 3 days. The cards close May 16th. The memorabilia closes the 17th. And then on the 18th, we have what we call final session, where it's a mix of cards and memorabilia as well. And then after that, we have a June showcase auction, and then a July trading card auction, and then April will be our summer platinum auction which will be on display at the National, and we're going to do a few previews at our offices in New York and here in Dallas. So always good opportunities for consigning and buying. We basically do a large scale catalog auction every single month now.
I tell you, man, I love just visiting your exhibit. That's what it is. It's a freaking museum.
I love scrolling, and scrolling deep, into the auction zap. I'm not just on page 1, like on the
Right.
website. It's like you go to like page 40 and there's still like these awesome items there. It's great. Hey, I asked a really great question earlier in the show.
You did. I wrote it down. So.
I might recycle it for someone else at some point. But I'm going to ask what might be a silly question now.
Most likely.
40 years from now, is Shohei Ohtani, Patrick Mahomes, LeBron James going to be considered vintage?
Yes, I will say so because, when you look
I've just picked those guys because they're,
right. So that's like how we look at people from the 70s now, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe to us, they don't seem vintage, but to that next generation down, they're like, of course, 70s is vintage. That was forever ago. They can't even imagine it. So,
but their value will not be like Ruth and Gehrig and Cobb, do you think? Or
you don't know that.
We don't know that.
Yeah, impossible to know.
Right.
I will say that, there will be more cards, collectibles, items tied to them than survived from the 20s, 30s, and 40s. So there will be that. But the media exposure and the way it's become global, even for football, which is, mostly a U.S. sport, but it has crept into the global market. But like basketball and baseball, those are global sports with millions of fans outside the U.S.
True.
So that's going to help expand the base for the modern guys, the current guys.
All right, so piggybacking on what JM just asked you, let's fast forward 25, 30 years from now. T206s, T205s, T3s, are they going to decrease in value?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Those classic items that have, been very steady, increased in value over decades, I think that will continue. One thing I always look at is at Heritage, we're also the #1 coin auction house in the world, and they do U.S. coins and world coins, and they sell coins from hundreds of years ago, and those have retained value. I did not know how big the coin market was until I joined Heritage. So Heritage as a company, we do about $2 billion in sales annually. and the coin department does about 60% of that.
Wow.
So they are a model.
I would not have guessed that. Wow.
Yeah, I did not know that until I started here, but that market continues to expand. And as I said, the most valuable items there go back 100 more years. So I think as long as the sport stays healthy, which baseball is, I love what they've done the last couple years to kind of refresh the fan base. I think then as long as the game is healthy, the collectibles market in its entire history will stay healthy.
All right, Michael, as always, man, we are just about out of time. We love having you.
The best.
We have a core group of guys that are like, they're the go-to guys.
Oh, I appreciate that. I love being on the show. I love watching the show.
Yeah,
so it's fun to come on.
Yeah, no, we really, really enjoy having you guys on. Even Derek.
We like people who can we like people who can roll with it and answer really, really fine questions.
That's right.
Yeah, great questions and silly questions as well from JM. Tom, step it up.
Okay. All right. I say hi to all the guys back in Dallas. Are you near the I've never been. That's one thing I want to do, JM. I've never been to the book depository in Dallas. You ever been there?
Oh, yeah, dude, I did. I went back in 1996. That was a long time ago. Zap, I don't know what it's like now. It's pristine. Like you can go behind the grassy knoll. The fences was like still
I got to do that, man.
And Dealey Plaza, it's really chilling to go there. And the book depository, the 6th floor, this was back in 96. Look online now. Is a museum now.
No, that I knew.
Yeah, you can literally like almost look out that window.
I got to do that, man.
It's crazy.
That's on my bucket. There's two things
all set up just as it was that day.
Yes, they have it all set up.
A replica of Oswald's sack lunch sitting there on a crate. Even.
See, there are two things on my bucket list as a former history teacher in another life.
Right.
The Texas Depository, and I've never been to the Alamo. I want to go to the Alamo.
I haven't been there. I've never been
Come
there.
on down. I'll take you both. We'll do a trip.
Oh, we should do a Texas trip.
I would love that. Yeah, I would do that. All right, brother. Michael, say hi to everybody.
I will.
Your website address
gentlemen.
is ha.com, correct? Nice and
Correct.
simple. All right, JM, nice chatting with you. JM, the camera looks good, man. It looks good. A little lighting.
I got to get you lights. Yeah, we're taking this to another level. We really are. So.
Exactly.
Thanks,
With that being said, to our viewers and listeners, we love you guys. Chrissy, nice job. And
Thanks,
we'll
Chrissy.
see you next week. Happy collecting.